This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. This is targeted technology. Today, I'm just going to show you how to install Microsoft SQL Server 2016 Developer Edition Service Pack 2, how to download and install both the SQL Server engine and the Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio, which is the version 17.9.1. There is no much reason to choose 17.9.1, but just that is the standard we are currently using at Target Technology. We may change it in the future, near future, but that is what we're going to use now. Okay, so thank you for joining. This is a short guide to walk you through how you can do the installation. So I will attach this guide with the short video I'm just going to create next. So this is SQL Server 2016 Developer Edition and the Management Studio download and installation instruction. So the first step will be to download the Microsoft SQL Server 2016. It comes in two different packages. So the SQL Server engine and corresponding package, as well as the Management Studio, which is separate installation file. So the first will be to install, to download SQL Server 2016 Developer Edition, which is a free version, which is used for development environment only. I mean, legally, it is only allowed to be used in development environment. When you learn, then you can use it. But for Enterprise Edition or any kind of other editions, you'll be required to have a license, except for the lightweight version called the Express Edition, which we don't recommend you to use it. All right, so for convenience sake, I want to ask you to just create a directory, a folder, and see a document. One used to call it SQL Server 2016 and SSMS 2017. Just this is one folder where we are going to put both the installation files. So, SQL Server 2016 Developer Edition can only be downloaded from the Microsoft site, which is called the Visual Studio site. As you know, Visual Studio belongs to Microsoft, and there is some free subscription called Dev Essentials. So you need to have that access first. So you need to have Microsoft account, and then also you have to subscribe to the Dev Essentials in order to get this access. The Dev Essentials subscription is free. So as you just click on this link, if you have the Microsoft account, then you will log in to it, or you need to create a new account. Okay, or if you have an account but still do not have the Dev Essentials, then you will be required to join it. It's just a single click to join. But for me, I have the Microsoft account as well as the Dev Essentials subscription, so it's just going to directly get in with the mic click. Okay, so just this is the link. Something you can do is either to copy this link and then paste that into your web browser. I use or recommend most of the time the Google Chrome. No reason, but it has been just one of the best. So it is proven to be. So I'm just going to continue using that. Or you can just click control and then click when you just get this hand sign, then you can click on it. Okay, or you can copy paste. So I prefer going the control click way. So control and then click, and it will take me to the Microsoft website. So I'm already signed in. Otherwise, it could have asked me to just log in to the Microsoft. It just directly went to this one. So I may just sign out from here, just simply to show you how it turns if you're just directly getting into it. So just the same way, go control click, and now you'll be asked to sign in. If you have already signed in, then you will see previously, maybe any time before, then you will see your any of your email addresses with which you have signed in before. So I will just use what I used earlier. So just simply insert my password and then click sign in. I don't want to continue to stay signed in, so I say no. So now you see the Microsoft SQL Server 2016 developer with Service Pack 2, because the link I provide you does have that search already put in. Okay, so I just searched it in. There are a lot of couple of other links down there for other downloads as well. So I just, if you don't have one, just simply type in SQL Server 2016 developer to see all related download locations or links. So we want to go with the Service Pack 2, which is the latest service pack. Of course, you can see that even the latest release for that is 2018. There are a lot of critical updates. After that, maybe just several ones, and there will be a lot of cumulative updates as well. Just if you don't know them, just ignore them for at this moment. Don't even worry about that. So the Service Pack 2 is the latest one with all security updates till that point, and then all the features added till that point in 2018. But still, as you see, the name is still 2016. Okay, so click on downloads, download here, and if your browser is set up, just let me cancel this. If your browser is not set up to ask you to where to save, then just simply to directly save it to the downloads or any other folder which is selected by default, what I recommend you to do is just go to the settings in here. Okay, just go to settings first. What I did was I just simply opened a new tab, and then just you see this these three dots here. Click on that. Okay, it may look like something different on yours, I don't know, but just next to the next to here, the where you paste you type in your URL, click on these three dots. Okay, and then just go to settings. The settings, go to advanced here to the left, click on advanced, and then just click on downloads. Clicking on downloads, then you will see the location for your downloads. That will be the first selection. So mine says it is still in downloads. That is the default location. I just don't want to change that, but it should ask me to save the file each time I download the file. Okay, so ask where to save each file before downloading. Anytime I just request for download, it asks me where to save it. So it was turned off before like this for you. You may see that it's turned off. Please turn it on like this. Okay, so that's it. That's the only thing you want to do. Done. So click on download, and it will ask you where to save. So as I've previously asked you, just go to documents. That is where you have created your directory where you want to keep your installation files, and click and just search for where you want to save it. Right? We created this folder, SQL Server 2016 and SSMS 2017. Double click on it. You will see that this file is already downloaded. Okay, so I just don't want to download it again because mine is already saved in here. If you should see empty, okay, you should see empty, and when you click save, it will start downloading. Okay, you just click save, it will start downloading. Depending on your internet connectivity, it may take from like 3 to 4 minutes all the way to maybe 30 minutes or an hour. Okay, if you have just like a nice connection, then it may finish like in 5 minutes, or it may go beyond that. So just you have to wait till it completes, and then you see that the download is complete. Okay, so just click save to get this download. So I have it already downloaded. Hope this helps. And the next one is, as you just, of course, click in here and then just get that downloaded. And then the next step is to download the Management Studio, the SQL Server Management Studio 17.9.1, originally released in 2017. And of course, it has been upgraded, updated. There are more features added in 2018 as well. So I just simply get the direct link for you. So I just use this direct link, okay, just to download the 17.9.1, the latest version of the 2017 Management Studio. So as in the previous one, either you can highlight this, just select it and copy and paste it into your URL, okay, in your web browser. Copy this, okay, copy and go paste it in here and go from there. Just simply pasting in here and then pressing enter will take you to the download. Okay, so because I've been working on just some files before, so you may cancel this and just go back and also just do the same way with your control click. It does the same thing. Okay, it wants to download somewhere, so you just go to your download your documents and Microsoft SQL Server 2016 SSMS 2017. Double click on here and then now start downloading. I have already downloaded this file as well. Okay, if you don't have, you see the name is exactly the same. Just click save to save it. Okay, this one is just by far smaller, so it shouldn't take you more than like 3-4 minutes as compared to the bigger Microsoft SQL Server 2016 Developer Edition full version. Okay, that is just around 3 GB, but this one is around 800 megabytes. So this is much smaller. So you should save it. You save it. Okay, I already have it. I don't want it. You save it in order for you to be able to install it later. You have to download before installation. So I will cancel it. All right, so doing this, now I have both my files in the folder that I created, documents, SQL Server 2016 and SSMS 2017. Now you see the two files, right? You should just go ahead and see yours as well after downloading. Maybe it may take 30 minutes, an hour, or whatever. Then you have to get back to it, and then now we will start installing from the SQL Server engine, okay, from the database engine itself. So my recommendation to you at this point is not to just directly start doing this, okay? It's always good to first reboot your machine, your computer. The reason, if in case there is an operating system update that has been taking and then you didn't restart the computer after it took the update, then the installation of SQL Server will just be hampered. It will stop and then you have to restart in between. So I recommend anyone to first restart or reboot your computer at this point before you proceed. Okay, after rebooting, now you just come back to this folder and then you still will see these two files, and now you proceed. Okay, so right click on this file, the SQL engine file, the ISO, which is of course the disk file, the disk image file, as you could see here, it's a disk image. So you right click on it to mount it. Okay, so let's do that. So we already have it. Just go to documents and SQL Server 2016 and SSMS 2017. So I right click on this file to mount it. Mounting is a process of just like inserting a DVD into your computer. Okay, so it's just virtually creating a virtual DVD file. Looks mine is already mounted, so I will remove it. That will not really create any issue, so now removed. Now I'll right click on here and then click mount. So we will get the same exact thing. It may a little bit be different. For me it looks like this, you see that? So that is the setup file. So this is setup.exe. Maybe sometimes where the extension is not visible, which you can definitely go to view and then just show the file name extensions. Okay, by doing that, you can see the file name extensions. You can remove it. Okay, now you don't see it. Okay, it's always good to have the file extension names to be visible. So now you see, right, the setup.exe. This also says setup.exe, but this does have the config. So you just don't need to run this one. Okay, this is an XML file which contains a configuration file for the setup, but the setup.exe is the application that performs the installation for you. Okay, so please go ahead and then double click on this one. We will start doing that together. So what you will see is, do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? This time you click yes, otherwise it will not install it. Okay, it will just simply ignore it. So when you allow by clicking yes, then now something will appear. Okay, so this the SQL Server 2016, the setup file will start loading, which looks like this one. So I have put all this details on the short guide, so you can also follow that. So you just will land here. Okay, this window will give you, of course, there are planning issues. I mean, things that you can choose from. You just don't have to do anything. This is a very quick, simple installation. Okay, so we just simply click on installation. Okay, from this list, click on installation. And now you will see new SQL Server standalone installation or add features to an existing installation. For both, you use this. So we will go with this one. Click on this link. That will take you to the installation process. So it takes a few seconds in between. This mine is a little bit fast at this point. So the next stage is, of course, to go and then check your product key. The developer edition is free, so that is specified as a free edition. In the free edition, you have got a couple of options: the evaluation edition and the express edition. The evaluation edition is the enterprise edition itself with 6 months limitations. Okay, after 6 months it will expire. The Express Edition is a very lightweight. It is free even for business use, but trust me, that will not help you at all. It's highly limited with the amount of data you can have, with the amount of the the columns you can have, with all the things. It is highly limited, and all other DBMS features are also lacking in Express Edition. Okay, Developer Edition is equivalent to, I just do not want to say it is exactly the same, it is equivalent to the Enterprise Edition that does have all the features. You can add as many data as you want to, and looks like the Enterprise Edition itself. And it is provided for free, mostly before it was even allowed only for companies, enterprises that do have the enterprise licenses. Then they get the developer edition for the development environment. Okay, so database development will be performed on the developer edition. During the development, you are not going to pay for the license. I mean, Microsoft is wise enough to allow you not to pay while development, because if you develop your database by using Microsoft SQL Server, then you are for sure going to use whatever paid editions, okay, the licensed ones. So that is why they leave this for free. But if you are also in Dev Essentials, as we do, okay, as everybody can do, then you can just get that for free. Just as you know, you are not going to use for production environments. Okay, so for running your real business on it, only develop databases, learn with it. It doesn't expire. That's the good part. It doesn't expire. So we are not going to change anything. So click next. And the next one part is, of course, accepting the license agreement. Most of the time, we do not read the license agreements and the privacy statement and all this documentation, but they always require you to read it. And there are a lot of provisions in it, not that much harmful. So if you do not want to accept any license terms without read and accept, for me, I've been working on this for several years, so I'm just good to accept it. I will accept and then go. Otherwise, it's not going to allow you even to pass. So if you do not accept, you cannot install. Accept the license terms and go next. And here is the point now. Because the file that we downloaded earlier is a little bit older, so there are several security updates that Microsoft has released since then. So what you do is, okay, please allow MySQL installation, or even after that, to use the Microsoft update, the update functionality associated with the installation, the setup file, or SQL Server, in order to acquire or pull from the Microsoft side the updates, okay, the security patches, the security updates that Microsoft releases. So it's always good idea, and I mean, you should get used to it. It is very important. Okay, if you don't do it, your machine will still be vulnerable for at some point, but if everything is for learning purpose, this will not really harm you if even you execute it. But including this is always a good idea. I included. So go next. So this time now it is going to check for um, setup file rules. So the setup rules, installation rules, will make sure that if your computer software operating system and other tool settings is really ready uh, for you to go ahead and perform the installation. What does that mean? If it fails at any point, if any of this requires you to restart your machine, it will show as failed. So you have got passed, failed, warnings, and escaped. Most of the time, it does not escape. So for us, we are good to go. But there are times where um, you may see um, something like this. Okay, so at this point you choose it and then go next. Then you may see the rule may say restart computer failed, which shows most of the time, not just exactly all the time, most of the time it will require you to restart your computer because, and still, yeah, most of the time I said, maybe Windows, your operating system, your computer's operating system may be taking an update. So it's in between something. So it requires you um, to restart, to reboot your computer before installing any kind of these huge kind of servers. Okay, it doesn't even install anything for you. As it completes the update, and then it requires you to restart the computer. So when it says restart computer failed, don't even worry and panic. Just what you should do is go ahead and then close everything, all the windows. That means stop the installation, close all the windows. I always recommend, and anyone restarting the computer, always close your files, close all your apps, and clean sheet. Go to start and go to power and then restart. Only if required. Okay, in our case, we are not required to do that because it doesn't fail. Okay, so it doesn't fail, so we are going to proceed. So what does that mean? So we will go next, but still you see one thing here. Windows firewall is in warning state. What does that mean? Windows firewall is made to protect your computer from external malicious attacks, any kind of external logging attempts will be blocked by the firewall. So the firewall is a software system embedded onto your operating system, your Microsoft Windows, and it is turned on by default. Okay, it is turned on means it is protecting you. But at this point, because SQL Server, the name implies, is a server which is meant to be accessed by other applications or other software external to this machine. If the firewall is blocking it, this means that external applications cannot directly connect to it. So it is giving you the warning, do you want to continue with this? Are you going to use your installation just standalone on your machine that we are installing on? You'll not be able to connect from external. But remember, this is just its current setting. it is possible, even just as in warning, you can just go and extend install, and if you want to access it from external application, still you can turn off the firewall, or just maybe go ahead and then turn off only for the specific ports that you want to open. Just this in the next class, the other discussions, but for this short guide to how to install, this is good to go. Okay, so you just don't have to do anything here. The Windows firewall warning is perfect. That's okay. That is what it is built for. Then that is what it is showing. So that is good. And then let's go next. Cool. Next. So next is just about choosing features. Okay, you select the features that you want to install. SQL Server comes with a lot of features and modules. One of the biggest one will be the database engine. The database engine is the one that performs all the DBMS activities. Okay, creating databases, managing your databases, accessing data, all of them are done because of the DBMS that we call the database engine service. So that is one. We also have more other features to include, because in this course, in this program entirely, we are including the Microsoft Business Intelligence, which includes integration service, reporting and analysis service, and at some point you may also want to practice with replications and so on. So all the features required that I'm not going to mention in detail here will be included, and the rest that we believe are not really important for this moment will be ignored. Okay, we are not going to choose them. But remember at this point, okay, keep in mind that if you add more features that you don't want, you can remove them later, even after installation. If you just want to add more features that you believe needed, as you didn't include it during your previous your installation here, then you can install it at any later time. So this is just simply the first key. Okay, so I will include the SQL Server replication. I just don't want the R service. This is for statistical tool called the R server. Okay, so we don't want this. The full text and semantic extraction for search. There are times where we may need this, but not always. But let's keep it. Data quality services, let's keep that. Analysis and reporting, this is a must to include. Polybase, we don't even need it. This is of like connecting your database to external data sources that we really do not want to do at this point. Okay, so the R related and SharePoint related components, we don't want them. Add the data quality client, client tools connectivity, integration services. This is a must to add, just like these two. Okay, analysis service reporting and integration services together will form what is called the Microsoft Business Intelligence backend. Okay, these are the backend tools. The front end tools will come with the Visual Studio for the developers. Okay, which is called the part of your Microsoft Business Intelligence Development Studio. Of course, that's the old name. The newer name is the Microsoft Business Intelligence Development. Yeah, just ignore it. It's called the BEADS, or the data tools. Okay, SSDT. SQL Server data tools, rather. Yeah, sorry. So SSDT will also have Visual Studio components for the front end. That is not, of course, what we're going to do here, but that is called the front end component. The back end components are analysis services, reporting services, and integration services. This should be included because this will be part of our program. So the other one, client tools backward compatibility, and I mean, let's have it if for any reason we may really need to have connect to any SQL server that is maybe 2008, 2012, or anything. Backward compatibility is included with that. The client tools SDK is good to have. Just I better say simply good to have at this point, and ignore the documentation as you can get online, and just simply include the SQL Server client connectivity SDK and then the master data services. These are really helpful. We may use them, but just let's have them. If you don't need, you can remove, but just having them will not hurt you at all. So these are the features, okay? Database engine, the full text semantic, and the data quality services, the analysis service reporting, and then a couple of other tools in here, but always do not forget the integration services here, okay? So no other change, we don't want to make any other change, and including where you really want your installation to go. So let it go to the default location, okay? So we don't care about that. So just go next. So next is about instance configuration. This is the SQL Server Engine instance configuration. So the engine, because this is the default instance that we're installing, I mean, we want to install the default instance. We don't want to have a named one. You still can have a named instance as you begin, but it is always recommended to have the default instance. That takes the instance ID called MS SQL Server, okay, and name, of course, this is the instance ID, and internally it takes your server or your computer's name, okay? That will be the default name of your SQL Server engine. Later we will see after completing this installation. Okay, so this done. So we're just not going to change anything here. Simply go next to go to the next configuration of the engine, where you will be required if you want to make certain changes to the account names, password, and so on. So these are all the features that are going to be installed. As you can see, these are the ones we selected. The SQL Server agent comes with the SQL Server that we installed. That is an internally built-in tool for scheduled activities, okay, scheduled jobs. So that is what it do. Um, uh, and of course others, the database engine, the real DBMS, okay, analysis, report, integration, all others that we included. So we're not going to change anything, including changing the account name and password. We want to continue to use the default provided one, right? So I'm not just going to even show you what this collection is. Just let's go with the default. What it says is the Latin general, case insensitive and X insensitive, and the Latin one general case insensitive and X insensitive for analysis service and for purpose. That is, of course, the set of characters and whatever you want to use in terms of what character set that you want to use. Okay, so the default is well and good because this is specifically defaulted to the US environment, and that is quite enough for us. So we're not going to change anything. So go next. And the next will be, of course, who will be the administrator for this SQL Server. Every installation requires who should administrate it, okay? So that administrator is the one with all the privilege on the SQL Server engine and, of course, all other installations on this machine. And this is a standalone installation. In server-based installation where there are more people to access one server, then you will have something called Active Directory groups, where there are groups of individuals or roles that will have access to that server. So rather than having this an individual's name in here, you will put the group's name. Okay, and anyone in that Active Directory group will have access as administrators to this server. But this time it's your machine, you are installing locally. So just clicking on add current user, you who have logged into your machine, you own the machine, right? So the name of that account, the account name is the administrator of the underlying operating system itself. When you logged in, you have provided username and password. So for me, my name and TTI is the name of the machine. So you will see the name of the machine / your name. Okay, so that is the name of the user who will be the administrator. Also, leave the Windows authentication mode intact like this. Later times we may just use the mixed mode because we do have several options to make the change. Okay, so go next. And analysis service is another data management tool. It does have its own data structure, which is called data mart. So really needs to have an account that manages it, that administers it, as with the database engine itself. So these are the only two services that require administrators. Okay, so we're not going to change this mode. Let's go with the multidimensional and data mining mode, which is of course the what I mentioned earlier, the data mart that you can create out of tables, out of your data warehouses. So we will go with it. Okay, at any time if required, you can remove it and then change it to tabular mode, which is possible. Okay, it requires a kind of reinstallation, but you can change that to tabular mode. But now we really need to have who can administrate it, so you need to include it. So the same way that you, the administrator of this machine, will be the administrator of the analysis service as well. So the same thing will appear here. So go next. And for the reporting service, no account required, but what do you want to do? Do you want to install reporting service, or do you want to install and then configure it as well? So this configuration includes creating reporting server databases that the report server requires. Okay, so that we will discuss in our BI classes. So, but this one, we will leave it as is intact with the default selection and then go next. So it looks like everything is done. So this is your configuration file. Now SQL Server, the setup file will use this configuration. Everything we selected earlier, every features that we chose are all included in this list. So now is the time to click install to install it. Okay. So after clicking installation, okay, click it. Now you'll see it will start installing and the installation progresses. And it will take you maybe between 3 to like 10 minutes, depending on the resources on your computer. Okay, I mean your processor speed, your RAM, and all things that defines the speed of your computer's processing. It may finish between like 3 to 10 minutes. Okay, so I just really want to get this part for my my note. I really want to include that in your guide. Okay, so let me start from here. Yeah, just simply to capture that and then add it to your notes here. Okay, let me stop the recording, pause it in between. When it's finished, then we will get back to it to start installing the management studio.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, the installation is complete. Looks like everything is perfect. So please make sure that all of the features installation is completed successfully. Okay, and everything should be in green like this, and then the status should be in succeeded. The other is that if your computer is not recently restarted, it may require at some point or will ask you to reboot or to restart to complete the installation. Okay, I mean to start using it. But for me, because of it's recently updated and also rebooted, so it doesn't require one. So I can now continue installing the Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. The Management Studio we're going to use to connect to the engine and of course perform all the create table, the create database, whatever stuff to use the database engine and other tools that we have installed. So we are good to go. Now we can close this one. And the next is, of course, to start installing the Management Studio, the SSMS 2017. At the beginning, you remember we downloaded two files. One is the SQL engine file, and the other one is the Management Studio file. So to start installing it, just go to the directory where you downloaded to, go to Documents, and then SQL Server 2016, and of course with the folder in which you you downloaded the files. So this is the file I'm talking about. Okay, so SSMS setup anu.exe. So simply double click on here. Okay, and as in the previous one, it will ask you if you really want to allow this application to make changes to your device. Okay, so click yes for that, and of course you will see this screen that will be the beginning of the installation of the management studio. So looks ready, so just simply click install on here. Okay, and it proceeds to check to load the package and to check if everything is ready, and then it will immediately just go ahead and start installing. Let's wait. All right, so it does now just completed the package download and everything required. So now it is installing. This will take, as with the SQL engine, take some time, like between 5 and 15 minutes to complete, depending on your system resources. So let me put on pause this recording, and then we'll get back to it when completed.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, the management studio is also installed and it's complete successfully. So as you can see, it is demanding for the restart of your computer. Okay, restart required in order to complete the setup. So you can just simply close it and start using the management studio. So it will not even show up. Okay, so we will restart it, and of course, this installation instruction or guide will also end here. And thank you very much. This is Target Technology Institute. Bye.